Hello and welcome to Frontrunner Motorsport, and this is the weekend of the final round of the 2023 Formula E Championship. I have not watched it yet, so I don't actually know what the result's going to be, and I don't know who is going to be champion. So let's go back to 2016 for the final time. Well, not technically the final time because Season 3 starts in 2016 and I'll probably cover that eventually. But the end of Season 2 was also in London. We had two drivers who have completely cleared the rest of the field. Sebastian Buemi and Lucas di Grassi. And it is between those two to decide the second Formula E champion. Previous year's champion, Nelson Piquet Jr., has had a torrid year with Neo. He is, I think it's one of the worst title defences in motorsport history, honestly. He has had an awful year, and it's not just that the Neo is slow. Nelson Piquet has crashed a fair few times, so we won't even consider him for this. Amazingly, Lucas di Grassi and Sebastian Buemi are both still on the Formula E grid in 2023, and they're not in title contention anymore. But for a few years, they were the big two, and this is going to be a direct fight between them. Now, there are no changes to the grid. This is the field as it should be. So let's first look at the first London race, and then in a few days' time, we'll look at the second London E Prix of 2016. So let's see how this race gets started.
We had rain earlier on today, but now it's dried and cleared up for the 9th round of the FIA Formula E Championship. Prost on pole, Senna alongside him. Turvey and Freights on row 2. We go green in London, and it's a lot of wheel spin for Bruno Senna. Looks as though Prost has got a good start. Senna tucks into second position, a lot of darting in the middle of the pack. Turvey in third, Freights doesn't get a good getaway. Daniel Abt is on the inside there as they come in towards the left-hander at turn 3 at Prince Albert, and it's Prost who holds the lead, and now Sam Bird trying to go around the outside of Jean-Eric Vergne. It's getting very tight in there. Both of the championship protagonists are through. In fact, everybody is through safely as they hurl their way now through the first sequence of chicanes. Absolutely nose to tail, but Prost got a good start. Senna managed to recover, even though it looked like he got quite a bit of wheel spin, Dario.
Yeah, the championship protagonists, they're in line of stern as they were. There's one position between them, but Sam Bird made a cracking move round the outside there and into turn 3, got close up to his teammates, so then thought better of it. But I think he's made a couple of spots up here. So.
He's got past Daniel Abt, crucially, in the Abt car, so that's not good news for their championship battle as they now come out between the two lake chicanes, now into the second left-right sequence that takes them into the long left-hander at Rosary Gate, and the two Virgin cars almost hitting each other, so close to one another, but Jean-Eric Vergne and Sam Bird just get away with it.
Bit cheeky there, but a very late defensive move on your teammate.
Di Grassi is tucked right up behind Nick Heidfeld. Are we going to see him attack coming down into the Millennium chicane in front of the Millennium Sports Stadium on the left-hand side?
There. Nice defending, and yeah, just taking it easy so far.
So here they come, down towards the final corner at Chelsea Gate. We're on board with Lucas di Grassi. You hear him lifting off a little bit early. That's because he's got to try and save energy.
Look at the leaves. The problem is if these end up in the inlet, in the radiator inlets, it can skyrocket the temperature of either the motor or the battery, and the battery temperature is pretty critical most of the races we go to. So this is a bit of a problem for the drivers, and more importantly for the teams.
So Lucas di Grassi and Buemi are starting down in the midfield because they got caught out by rain in qualifying, so they're both going to have to work for their money this time. Interestingly, Nico Prost is on pole and he leads the race so far. We had a very clean first lap, which is always nice to see in Formula E, and yet so rare. And you know, I mentioned Nelson Piquet not really featuring this year. Well, he's last, so that's pretty much how his championship defense has gone.
As we heard in pre-race, these boys have got a lot of respect for each other, but it is war out there. They both want this championship badly. They're not here to play games.
And is Di Grassi going to be close enough behind? But he goes for it into the Millennium chicane, and he gets the job done.
That's interesting. It was almost like as a reaction to Buemi, but I'll just keep one between us. Just keep one car between. Now watch how he closes the gap to the car in front. Watch as he closes up.
Out of the final corner then, comes Nico Prost, who continues to lead the race. He is 1.4 seconds clear of Bruno Senna in second place. Oliver Turvey doing a great job in third position, but he is using more energy. Look, he's got 79% of usable energy remaining compared to the 82%, for example, of Nico Prost. And is that an attack from Buemi now up the inside, coming into Prince Albert? Yes, it is, and Buemi follows through, and he is now, a little bit of contact further back, but...
So Lucas Di Grassi and Sebastian Buemi are almost moving up the field together in tandem. They are right next to each other, and that makes the title race very exciting because Lucas Di Grassi only leads by a point. And we still have one race to go after this. Both pulling off very slick overtakes, very enjoyable to watch. I think all of the action in this race, just keep the cameras on those two, they're going to be flying through the field.
As we were watching that, Daniel Abt was getting a bit weavy in front of Sebastian Buemi.
Yeah, he was, and he's got to be careful of that because they both said they wouldn't do anything dirty. And that's not dirty yet, but it's very, very aggressive. And yeah, your problem is they're getting held up in front, like you said. Robin French is probably holding the guys up a little bit, and this is the situation where Daniel Abt has to make sure the door is closed. He's got a warning flag there for changing direction more than once. Daniel Abt has to be, every corner he has to defend, even if he thinks Sebastian Buemi is too far back, because Buemi will catch him by surprise at some point.
So we're already 9 laps into this race. It's going by pretty quick, and Buemi has already run into a big problem in that they have caught Di Grassi's teammate, and of course Daniel Abt has just let his teammate go by. Buemi is now stuck behind Abt, who is defending very, very aggressively, and Buemi has to be really careful because the slightest bit of damage jeopardizes his championship, and Daniel Abt is not going to make it easy to get through. Now, Sebastian Buemi definitely has the talent to get past Daniel Abt, but it's obviously got to be on his mind that he has to be cautious here. Luckily for both Di Grassi and Sebastian Buemi, the field is still quite tightly packed together because Robin French is running in front. Not as quick as the front runners. He's done very well in qualifying, or he just got lucky with the rain. But it is slowing the pace down, and the field is still quite packed together, so that works in both their favours.
And there's the look from Di Grassi. He's got the inside line. Sebastian Buemi trying to follow through, and Di Grassi makes the move. He goes past Sam Bird and is up into 6th place. And the Renault Edams team are going, that's not what we needed, because Buemi couldn't get past Daniel Abt. So now there's a 2-car buffer in between the championship leader and the man in 2nd place in the standings.
Sam Bird had a go at blocking it, but realised it wasn't on.
Yeah, got there nice and early, Lucas Di Grassi.
Yeah, perfect.
And there's the reaction in the Abt garage. A round of applause. The other thing to consider for Daniel Abt, of course. Oh, and there's Jean-Paul Trier.
I wish I could lip read in French.
Yeah, exactly. If Nina's listening, can you lip read in French? Here's the look from Daniel Abt. He's having to defend really hard from Buemi. Oh, and Buemi has to really get out of it. You were never going to get around the outside at turn 3, though.
No, but it was only move that was open to him. But Sebastian knew at that point, he thought, well, if I don't get out of this, he's going to feed me into the barrier. So, yeah, not correct.
I think Daniel Abt might be up for disqualification here because he is blocking really hard, and Sebastian Buemi actually had to pull out of that one because he was going to crash. Lucas Di Grassi is on the move. He has overtaken Sam Bird, a brilliant overtake. But yeah, Buemi just can't follow him through. And you'll notice I'm not really talking about anyone else in this race. That's because we've not really seen anyone else in this race. We have followed Buemi and Di Grassi for the entirety of the race so far, and we're nearly at the halfway point. So very soon we'll be coming in for pit stops, which will probably do a good job of spicing this up a bit more. It has been a completely clean race so far. That is almost unheard of in Formula E.
If you could stay all the way on the outside of him as they exited, fine. But he was only halfway alongside at best.
And here comes Daniel Abt, and he's going past Sam Bird. Oh, but he's locked up. Goodness me, he almost takes out his teammate. That could have been a catastrophe of epic proportions. But fortunately, they all just carry on as normal.
Breathe,
but,
Jack.
But is Abt slowing down to let Bird back through? What are these two doing? They're just kind of swapping positions for no apparent reason. It looked to me as though Bird sort of let Daniel Abt through there. That was interesting.
I have no idea. Buemi's going, please let me through. And Robin French is still holding it up there.
I've got nothing to say about that. That was just... oof. And Buemi is still stuck behind them both, which is tough on him. But I don't know if there's something wrong with Sam Bird's car. He seems to have slowed up quite a lot.
and Prost leads, Senna second, Turvey third. Those two are onto their final lap before pitting because they've only got 6% and 5% respectively. Senna saved some energy, then nailed it and set the fastest lap of the race. And Prost and Senna are 14 seconds ahead of Oliver Turvey in third. Then it's Robin Frank still holding on to fourth position. Verne still in fifth. Lucas Di Grassi up into sixth place, and is that? Yes! Buemi is through. Buemi's past Daniel Abt.
How did he do that?
So Sebastian Buemi is up past Daniel Abt, and that is going to be frustrating for the Abt team.
Watch how quickly he reels in Lucas Di Grassi. He's almost there already. And that's when, you know, if he puts pressure on now, on Lucas, all's fair. You know, where's he going to put that pressure on? I mean, he knows now that he's dealing with a guy who's got an equal thing to lose, an equal amount to lose, so the risk is the same for both of them.
So Buemi has finally got past Daniel Abt, and it was a good overtake. He's now right behind Lucas Di Grassi, who surprisingly didn't take off up the road. He's still stuck behind Frines and Jean-Eric Verne, and I'm a little bit disappointed he didn't make a couple of moves whilst Buemi was struggling, and they're kind of back to square one just further up the field. But it was good timing from Buemi. They're just about to get into the pit stops, and we'll see if anything changes after they swap cars.
But it's still beautiful. We can see a few spots of rain on the camera lens, can't you?
That
but
might
it's
be a
still
bug.
sunlight, and here comes Di Grassi up the inside of Robin Fraines, coming down into the Lake Chicane, and is he going to get through? Yes, Di Grassi up into fifth place.
You could see him there just break a little bit,
Look at the rain! Look at the rain!
Oh, it is raining.
We've never had a wet race in Formula E, and here comes Sebastian Buemi up the inside of Robin Fraines. He's not close enough. We've never had a wet race in FIA Formula E. These cars are on essentially racing road tyres. They don't need to come into the pits to change to wets. These tyres can work in wet conditions as well. Here comes Buemi. He's got around the outside, and he's got past Robin Fraines up the inside into the Millennium Chicane. So now it's fifth and sixth for the two championship protagonists.
So nothing too dramatic happened at the pit stops. Jean-Eric Verne did jump Robin Fraines. It was afterwards. Lucas Di Grassi made a great move on Robin Fraines, and Sebastian Buemi just followed him straight through. And I said at the start of this, these two have won a race of this championship. There's any proof of it here. They have carved their way through the field very efficiently. They're now in fifth and sixth place. Interestingly as well, and something I didn't really realise at this point, it's starting to rain. And apparently this is the first ever wet Formula E race. So there you go, we're watching a little bit of history from 7 years ago.
Yeah, absolutely incredible stuff. Oh no, off goes Daniel Abt, he's hit the wall! He's lost it, and he's hit Fraines! What a horrible, clumsy accident, and heads in hands for the Abt team. That's their championship in big trouble now, thanks to Daniel Abt's error. Because that had been caused by just a little bit of rain, will that bring out a safety car? Will it bring out a full course yellow?
And it's all gone wrong for Daniel Abt. We haven't actually had any incidents at all in this race, but 20 laps out of 33, and Daniel Abt has lost it under braking, speared into the wall, and on his way round he's hit Robin Fraines as well. And I don't know if Robin Fraines got away with it, he's been able to continue, or if he's damaged as well. Daniel Abt was kind of known for this sort of thing. He did crash a fair few times in Formula E, but this was a massive hit to Audi's attempts to win the team's championship. So that's pretty much gone up in smoke on day one.
On board with the Brazilian.
They don't mind getting close, do they? They use that nose and come nerve it away. It's incredible how close and how much contact there actually is just between the rear crash structure and the front nose.
Well, it's like when you do a parallel park, isn't it? You have to nudge the car behind to check you're in the right place.
I saw a guy do that the other day in Road America, and I applauded him when he got out of his car.
On board with Lucas Di Grassi. Not quite close enough. Yes, he goes for it. Di Grassi up the inside, and they hit each other, and that almost spins him around.
Here comes Buemi.
Buemi's got the overlap, and Di Grassi says, "No way, you're coming through there, son." Goodness me, that got pretty close.
That was that point I was telling you about, Jack. You got to go. You got to be decisive. He was not decisive. Oh, his wing's broken. Di Grassi's front wing is broken.
Well, let's have a look at how badly. Well, it's hanging over onto the wheels.
If that gets caught in the steering mechanism, it is all over for him.
Big trouble for Lucas Di Grassi. The front wing lodged underneath the car, and we've seen drivers given a black and orange flag for similar incidents last time out in Berlin. What is going to happen now to Lucas Di Grassi, the championship leader? Could be seeing his challenge go up in smoke.
Buemi's used fan boost.
Up the inside comes Sebastian Buemi. He does, back to the outside line, but he's not quite close enough to get that move done. But he's got, oh, Degrassi's gone in very, very deep, and Buemi is all over the back of him. But you can't take the risk today. It's all about the championship finale tomorrow. Meanwhile, Antonio Felix da Costa has got past Jean-Eric Verne as well. So Verne dropping down places. So far, there's been...
That's Sam Bird
the wing's gone.
there.
The wing's gone for Lucas Di Grassi. That pod has disappeared. So, or no, is it lodged under the front? Oh, there it goes.
There it goes now.
So that means
almost hit it.
that Di Grassi is sort of all right now, because the car isn't dangerous in itself.
Yep, agreed. Whether the stewards see it that way, whether the Renault E-Dams guys will see it that way.
Oh, big moment for Da Costa. Huge.
Got 6-7 laps left and they've all gone crazy. It wasn't a very long safety car period, which that's fantastic. I'd love to see that more often in motorsport. But since the restart, we've seen Jean-Eric Verne take a dive at Oliver Turvey, and I will say, because the race has focused so much on Di Grassi and Buemi, it's kind of gone unnoticed that Oliver Turvey is doing a fantastic job in third place in the Neo. We've not really seen him that high up at any point this season, so round of applause for him. Definitely went unnoticed at the time. Verne locked up trying to get past him. Di Grassi then tried to get past Verne. Buemi had a little go at Di Grassi as well. Di Grassi hit Verne, gets damaged, and then he has a bit of front wing stuck in his under the car, but luckily it fell off. Antonio Felix da Costa has come from nowhere. I don't think I've seen him at all this race. And all of a sudden he's just popped in right behind Buemi. And then he has a moment as well. There's 6 laps left. Honestly, anything could happen at this point.
Rosary Gate. No, sorry, we're heading down towards the chicanes. Little dart around from Buemi.
Buemi is so fast through the 6-7 corners, but he cannot make a pass in 8, but it gets him this close coming up here to 11 and 12. Can he make this move?
Di Grassi covers the inside line. Look how much more speed Buemi's got. He looks to the outside later on the brakes. Are they going to get it stopped? Just about. Di Grassi holds the place. Goodness me, these two are racing wheel to wheel. These are the two championship protagonists.
Can you imagine if they actually hit each other? That'd be insane.
There's a look from Buemi again, darting one way, darting t'other.
But again, he's put him off line, he's put him off the natural line, so he'll be able to get a better exit out of this corner. He's forced him to defend again. If he can keep this up, he might have a chance out through 13 and into 14.
Di Grassi has 26% usable energy remaining, Buemi has 30%. The two go side by side, bang wheels, but Di Grassi is having to save energy, just to get to the end of this E-Prix, and so Buemi can go a lot quicker, but at the moment can't find a way past. Oh, and look at Sam Bird! Oh, late on the brakes, almost going into the back of the blue and yellow car of Sebastian Buemi.
Di Grassi hasn't used his fan boost yet, has he?
Di Grassi's car has so many bits hanging off it. I honestly don't know how it's still going around at this point. But we've got 2 laps left, and Nico Prost has won away with this one. He's miles ahead of everyone. Senna is doing a decent job in second in Mahindra. Very good job from him from his first race. Oliver Turvey still hanging in there in third, although Verne is giving him a hard time. Buemi and Di Grassi still scrapping it out. So 2 laps left, and these places could all change. We'll have to keep an eye on everyone in the top 6. Everyone below that we've barely seen. Sam Bird's up there. Conway's up there somewhere. Honestly, I haven't really been paying attention to the top 10 anyway, so it's all about Buemi and Di Grassi.
Watch how quick Buemi is through this section, and this is when he gets close and he starts making him defend again, and he's going to catch him out. If he keeps up, there's a good chance he will catch Lucas Di Grassi out and cause that one mistake, and that's all it's going to take, because trust me, he's going to risk everything. Oh, another defensive move there by Di Grassi.
Now this is the place where Buemi has managed to get alongside for the last 2 laps in a row, but not been able to do anything about it because he's on the outside line coming into the chicane. On board we go with Buemi, pulls to the outside again, and Di Grassi's just going to hold it in late in the day, take the apex. How close is Bird here? Pretty close, I imagine.
Watch him looking in the mirrors. You see that glance to the right? He's looking in that outside mirror. Is he going to make that slingshot and try
Here
to pass
comes
it?
Bird up the inside. Sam Bird is through. He's up into
Yellow flag.
6th position, but the yellow flag's round. Turvey's in the wall. Oliver Turvey is into the wall, and that means Sam Bird overtook under yellow flag. Surely he's going to give the position back. Buemi is gesticulating. Oliver Turvey is out of the E-Prix. What a shame. It looked as though we were going to have a Brit on the podium, and is that going to bring out a virtual safety car? That could could be the end of the race potentially, and Bird is now moving over. Is
No!
he? No!
Come on, Sam.
That was clear, and Bird's all out of shape. Is he going to keep it out of the wall? Just about. And Buemi is going to be absolutely furious inside that cockpit.
Rightly so, Sam. I mean, maybe Sam doesn't know there was a yellow. Is Oliver Turvey. What a shame. Such a great race.
Really fantastic drive from Oliver Turvey, but it's ended now, and we're on the penultimate lap of the race.
That is heartbreaking for Oliver Turvey. He had put in a fantastic performance, and to end up in the wall with just 2 laps left, that is unbelievable. Although I think he was struggling on energy anyway. It's still going crazy behind, well, what's behind him. Di Grassi is still ahead of Buemi, but Sam Bird did get past Buemi, but obviously the yellow flags had just come out, so he won't be able to keep that position, which is very lucky for Sebastian, because we know how tight this championship ends up being, and losing that place could have cost him the championship. So he will be thanking his lucky stars that Oliver Turvey crashed. As for sort of an update with just a lap to go, Prost, we've barely seen him, but he is still leading. Senna's still up there. Verne is up to 3rd. And you have Di Grassi and Buemi and Bird 4th, 5th and 6th. So you've got 1 lap left. Let's see if anything changes.
Down there for Turvey's car, and that means that through the final corner comes Nico Prost. He hasn't won in Formula E since Miami of season 1, but now it's victory for Nico Prost and victory for Renault in Battersea. But who's going to come across the line in terms of the championship leaders? It is just going to be Lucas Di Grassi to hold on to 4th place across the line. 5th is Sam Bird, 6th is Sebastian Buemi, and 6th is Antonio Felix da Costa. So Bird dropped back. Bird dropped back on that last couple of laps. So Buemi does finish 5th.
So Nico Prost wins the race. A fantastic drive from him. As I said, we barely saw him. He was so far ahead. Di Grassi did keep ahead of Buemi, so that would be a big help in the championship fight, you would assume. But we'll have to see what happened in the 16th and final race that will be released on this channel in a few days. So make sure you subscribe for that. There were some other drivers in this race. So in 7th place, Antonio Felix da Costa, great drive from him. We saw some good overtaking from him. I can't remember who finished in 8th, but I'm sure they did a good job. I think it was Heidfeld. Then, no, honestly, we saw so little of the midfield. I honestly don't know who finished where. D'Ambrosio, I think, finished 9th and Conway 10th. I might be wrong. I've already forgotten and I can't be bothered to go look it up. So, with that, let's go look at the championship standings after the penultimate round of 2015-2016. I really still just hate that they did it over 2 years. Just the 2016 championship would be much easier to say. Edams are pretty much guaranteed to win the team's championship in 2016, ahead of Abt Audi, who, because of Daniel Abt crashing, aren't really close enough to mount a challenge. Virgin have pulled clear of Dragon, but they're well behind Audi, and Mahindra have done really well to get up into 5th place in the team standings. Lucas Di Grassi leads the championship at only a few points ahead of Sebastian Buemi. Nicolas Prost has jumped up to 3rd. He has 90 points, but just 2 ahead of Sam Bird, with Jerome D'Ambrosio in 5th, starting to fall behind a little bit. Okay, with that, thank you very much for watching. Make sure you subscribe. The last race of Season 2 will be out very soon. I will also be covering the final race of 2023 in a video very shortly. We've got Formula 1 this weekend as well, if you haven't noticed. And obviously I'll be reacting to my amazing Formula E predictions, guaranteed 100% in 2023. No mistakes like the last few years. Definitely want to subscribe for all of that, because it's all just fantastic. You won't believe it. Leave your thoughts down below. What did you think of this race? Have you changed your opinions on Formula E? Are there things you liked from 2016 that you wish they still did in 2023? Or vice versa? Thank you so much for watching, and to everyone who has subscribed recently. It's just the last few weeks it has jumped up a lot, and we're nearly at 900 now, and then we'll be beginning the climb to 1,000, which I never really imagined would ever happen. So thank you very much for that, and have a good one.